Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our 2022 Fall Convocation and Homecoming Week. Let us be mindful of our collective commitment and responsibility to respect and protect each other. Let's keep that in mind. I want to pause just one moment and make sure that we also thank again the beautiful music that has been provided by our choir and our band. This is exceptional talent along with our athletes. So let's take a moment and thank them again. We appreciate all of the gifts that you all share with us to make this university great. I want to say one more thing. I hear you trombones back there. I was second trombone, everybody. I hear you trombones. So I have the distinct honor to introduce alumnus Jerome Myers, class of 2005, civil engineering. He is a developer and founder of the Myers Development Group, LLC. He's also a licensed professional engineer, a certified project management professional, also known as PMP, a licensed commercial and general contractor, and his businesses are certified as North Carolina historically underutilized businesses. Currently, Mr. Myers is the Chief Inspiration Officer and founder of Dreamcatchers, a podcast that facilitates a way to assert the narrative for people who want to chase their dreams, in spite of what others deem to be unlikely. Mr. Myers and his podcast focuses on those who choose the red pill, the symbol to pursue success in an uncertain world that defies the illusions fed by those who want to paint a false narrative of fairness and equal opportunity. In the movie The Matrix, those who choose the red pill have chosen to struggle by facing the reality of inequality that many of us face, and also its requisite challenges and truths. The red pill people choose to fight the illusion in order to assert their freedom and equal opportunity and rights to success. Mr. Myers has also served as the secretary of NCA&T's National Alumni Association. He served as secretary of the Virginia branch of the American Association of Blacks in Energy and served on the board of directors of the Minority Engineering Partnership. He received an MBA from Longwood College in Farmville, Virginia in 2010, where he earned his status in the prestigious Phi Beta Kappa. Mr. Myers continues to hold powwow at the mountaintop to assist high-achieving entrepreneurs to work together to overcome obstacles. Mr. Myers' own method integrates with what we call the mastermind approach. He builds teams of experts into expert teams who collectively address complex problems and challenges, and they do so under the commitment to advance the human condition through innovation and servant leadership. There is so much more that I can say about his many achievements, but really the point is all of his achievements focus on equalizing the playing field and helping us live our rights and opportunities to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. The other thing I want to put out there, though, is that he played football also at North Carolina A&T athletes. He also received two scholarships, but he still worked for pay because he did not want to ask his family for money. Currently, he is paying everything forward by helping others build wealth through real estate investments and focusing on multifamily real estate and generational wealth. He is advancing the human condition, one family at a time. Indeed, I find myself truly inspired by my fellow Red Pill warrior, and I am pleased to present him to you so that we can all celebrate the contributions A&T made to his transformation and his subsequent contributions to our world. Let us recognize, appreciate, and celebrate Mr. Jerome Myers, alumnus of the prestigious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. At Geek Pride,
kind of hard to believe she's talking about me. Man, it's been a wild ride. Chancellor Martin, Mrs. Martin, members of the Board of Trustees, the Chancellor's Cabinet, elected officials, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends, my mentor, Mr. Deese, Pastor Wesley Morris there in the back, Mom, hey, Mommy, hey, Daddy. And to the woman who asked me if I still knew how to dream 6 years ago, you've been a partner and a pillar, support every step of the way since I left corporate America. And it's my honor to be here with you all today. Thank you, Rayleigh Show. In today's world, we are entertained with 15-second videos on our phones, and we prefer to text over talk. One of the hardest things to do is to keep somebody's attention over a minute. And here I am, with my heart pounding, sweaty palms, butterflies in my stomach, knowing that all I can do is offer you my truth. 6 years ago, I was contemplating exiting corporate America. I was thinking about blowing up my life as I knew it. For those of you who watched the 1999 documentary, The Matrix, you recognize this as taking the red pill. Think about it, 6,000 square foot house, exotic cars, travel whenever you want. Why would you walk away from that? Back then, I worked in a division. We were closing in on our second $20 million year with over 30% profit margins. My team, which was half the size it was the year before, was getting more efficient and more effective week by week. Just 2 years earlier, I was employee number 2. We had $0 in revenue, and we grew it to 175 employees. 0 to 20 million for somebody else in under a year. People didn't always believe that I was responsible for the increase because of my age and my appearance. I still smirk at the faces they made when they saw me walk in after seeing the financial reports. Their mouths would always drop. I was always the youngest. I was the only brown person. I was the only one with long hair. And I was okay with that. 6 years prior, people told me I was ruining my career when I decided I was not going to get haircuts anymore. And a little over a decade before that, a campus recruiter told me that my hair wouldn't work at their company. And I didn't have dreads then. I had a really, really small fro. I'm grateful for both experiences because they helped me realize a few things about life. There are times in your walk where you need to trust yourself. The first experience, the one related to my hair not working at their company, was humbling because I realized that I hadn't done anything yet. Playing football and graduating summa cum laude, I think I graduated like a 3.97 or 4 or something like that, didn't matter in the world of work. I would be the new kid on the block, and to give the older kids a reason not to like me was a recipe for unnecessary trouble. So I assimilated. I got the highest starting salary out of my class, shout out to the 2005 civil engineering graduates, and went on to prove to the world that I was somebody. So my first day at work, a security guard stopped me, and he asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Jerome Myers." He said, "Where are you going?" "Start my new job." He retorted, "Well, what will you do when you get there?" I responded, "I'm gonna prove them right." He said, "Who is they?" I said, "Well, all those people who were silly enough to believe in me. My mom, my dad, teachers, coaches, and the guy that hired me to work here." He said, "Please come in," with a big smile. Little did I know that wild journey would end in this. In the blink of an eye, a decade went by. And on December 24th at 4:55, I get a phone call. This is 2015. Jerome, I know you and I have been going back and forth on this for a few weeks, but I made a decision. We're going to lay half your team off. No, that's not the right answer. Why would we do that? Well, this isn't a negotiation. We already had the deliberation. I'm calling to inform you of a decision. See, I had this illusion that I was in control because I saw people once a quarter. I talked to them every other week, the people that I reported into. But that wasn't real. I thought I was an entrepreneur, but I wasn't. I was still in the system, and somebody could come in and tell me what was going to happen to the people who were on my team. And that bothered me. So I continued to plead with him on, no, that's not the right decision. And then he said, look, Jerome, it's 4:59 on Christmas Eve. I'll talk to you in the new year. I'm going to spend the rest of the year with my family. And I was in shock because I realized that my life had changed forever. I never had to tell someone they needed to find a different way to earn a living. They thought, and the thought of having to communicate that to 75, 80 people just seemed tumultuous. So I spent the next few days, because we were on break, figuring out what we were going to do. And after many sleepless nights and days that I didn't eat, I found my way through my feelings and got back to leading my division. And all I could say in my mind to rationalize it was, they made me do it. I hadn't accepted that I had a choice. They made me do it. I gave all of my agency away. And so I moved on. We laid folks off. We continued to make money, more money this year than last year because we were more efficient. And it still irked me, it bothered me. I felt like I let people down. See, in the 8th grade, I had a friend I was supposed to call. This is hard. To go to a high school football game. And I forgot to call him. And on Saturday morning, I got a phone call, and it said he was gone. My classmate for the last 5 years, my teammate for the previous 2 was no longer alive. A tragedy that I still blame myself for in some part today. Hopefully he can forgive me for not calling. And hopefully he sees that I'm living a full life and carrying his story with me. I think we've had a similar instance happen through gun violence that's affected our community here at A&T. So I'd just like to pause for a moment and recognize Ms. Kanisha Turner, because I'm sure her life was cut short as well. So let me pause here and share what is one of the most important things I've ever learned in my life. Be impeccable with your word. It's your bond, and you never know whose life can dramatically change as a result of what you say. Honor your commitments, always say what you mean, and mean what you say. So when I tell you the butterflies are floating and my palms are sweating, it isn't because I'm intimidated by standing in front of a crowd. I played at homecoming at A&T when they were bringing bleachers in on the track, man. I've seen it all. I've been in Bethune, they throw beer bottles at us. Like, I've seen it all. This isn't scary. But what is scary is that there's probably 1 or 2 people here who will listen to what I'm saying and actually take action. And I want to be sure what I say is helpful, because your time is your most valuable resource, and you're spending it here with us today. So, how did I blow up my life? What did taking the red pill really mean? It meant leaving the brand new F-150 company truck behind the 401k, the six-figure salary, the six-figure bonus, my dream car, the dream house, all the people I'd work with. It meant going back to driving a Toyota Camry that was almost 10 years old, with over 100,000 miles on it, no leather seats, no backup camera. It meant giving up seeing my daughters almost every day. It meant risking everything that made me feel comfortable for something that I thought could change my family tree. A chance to actually be the one. For so many people, it's too much to risk, and it's understandable. For me, deep down in my soul, I believe that there was a chance I could create something special if I bet on myself. Sometimes, not always, and not for everyone, it's necessary to blow up the life that you know for the one that you believe you can have. I realized that the company didn't make me lay people off. I chose to participate in the decision. I realized that life isn't full when I shrink to other people's expectations. The people who always wanted to spend time with me when I was running a huge division were the same people who had a hard time answering the phone when I was calling for business for mine. I was outside the system and it was very uncomfortable. No clients, no business leads, and no real understanding of what to do next. It's the absolute wrong way to do it. Don't do it this way, guys. I'm telling you, don't do it this way. I hadn't been asked the questions the security guard asked me on my first day at my new job, so I didn't bother to answer them when I was in this gap, and I was lost. Change is uncomfortable. Be sure you are as prepared as possible before you take the big leap. Know who you are, what you're working towards, and how you will improve the human condition once you get to where you are going. In my sophomore year here at A&T, my buddy Jerome and I were on the stoop talking about how wealthy we were going to be, which was par for the course for our conversations. And then we decided to do some math because that's what engineering students do in their free time. I was paying $395 in rent. I had 2 roommates. They were paying $395 downstairs in the apartment underneath us. Jerome was doing the same thing. And we multiplied it across the apartment complex. The guy was making $700,000 a year, but we never saw him. He figured out how to decouple his time from money. And we wanted to figure out how to do the same thing. We learned that trading our hours for dollars wasn't the wealth creation formula. You needed to buy assets that you could charge other people to use in order to become wealthy. But I remember what I said. I never saw the owner, so who would I ask? And being the son of a soldier and a stay-at-home mom, we didn't have a whole lot of people with multi-million-dollar real estate portfolios coming over to the cookout. So I went and did the corporate thing, right? But now I'm on my way out. It's time to get that dream off the shelf and go do it. I had no excuses anymore. I needed to figure it out. I'd been out of school over a decade. I made some money. I had a high 700 credit score, some professional credentials, and a few certifications. But that didn't matter when I went to the bank. After giving the commercial loan officer, with a big smile, my 54-page business plan, he looked at me, smiled, and said, "Wow, you've put a lot of work into this," without opening it. "How much capital are you looking for?" "About $1 million. Well, what experience do you have?" I rattle off the credentials that she talked about in the bio or the intro. And he said, "Yeah, but what do you know how to do related to this?" "I don't think I understand your question, sir. I'm a project manager, I'm an engineer, got an MBA. Okay, well, forget that. Tell me about your schedule of real estate owned." "I don't know what that is." "Where's your balance sheet?" "What's that?" "Do you have anything with your global cash flow on it?" Smile was gone, right? I realized my business plan didn't matter, my credentials didn't matter, I didn't have the experience, and I wasn't prepared for the opportunity that was in front of me. I thanked him for his time and I went to do research. Thank God for Google. I needed to know what the terms meant so I could have a chance at a loan. And so I did my research, and then I went to the next one and the next one, and I'm stubborn like my father, so I didn't give up after the first 5, and I got to number 10, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't gonna work. They all told me the exact same thing. I needed a partner. I didn't know anybody who owned commercial real estate. So I put the dream back on the shelf, and I did what everybody else does, right? I went to fix and flip properties. And quickly I realized that I was working harder than I had when I had a job. I wasn't making as much money by any stretch of the imagination, and what I was doing wasn't sustainable. I wanted to quit. It would have been so much easier just to go back and get a job and finish out my career as an energy executive. Then one night, I walked upstairs, and I saw a little lady sitting in a bed covered up in papers. And when I looked closer, I realized that it was letters that I had printed out to send to owners of apartment buildings. It may sound strange, but mailing letters to people who have property and asking them if they want to sell them is a really efficient and effective way in order to get real estate deals. And so I asked her, I said, "What are you doing?" And she looked at me over her glasses and said, "I'm helping." And I said, "Helping?" "Yeah. I don't know how to do what you do. I don't know how to analyze a deal, but I do know how to write addresses on envelopes, put letters in them, seal them, put a stamp on them, and drop them in the mail." Sometimes you just need that one person to believe in you when you stop believing in yourself to keep going. So that's what I did. I kept going. From there, met my partner, James Bryant, an alumnus of the university, first millionaire that I ever met. He partnered with me and Jerome on our first deal. We bought more deals. And before I knew it, we had a few $1 million in holdings. Things were good. The business plans were working on the buildings. And then the pandemic hit, and I realized that all of my income was tied to people putting money in deals. And I could be a little slow at times, but I realized nobody wanted to do a deal when I started running around saying, "Hey, we can buy this, we can buy that." And all of my income disappeared again, back to zero, all of it. So one day I'm standing in the front yard with my parents, well, my mom and my 2 daughters. And my youngest daughter, Malia, called me a superhero after getting a drone out of a tree that she got it stuck in. I felt nothing like a superhero. I felt like a failure. She picked up on my struggle with her compliment. She's so intuitive. And she said, "Daddy, what's wrong?" I said, "Baby, I need to make some money." And she said, "Oh, Daddy, don't worry. You'll be rich again." I said, well, okay. And then my oldest smiled at me, Kaya smiled at me, and she said, "Yeah, I believe in you. You can do anything." So again, another pivot, right? Somebody believed in me. And so this time it was back into my calling, leadership development, a skill that I leaned on heavily when I was in my corporate role. I continued to operate the properties that we had and spent about half of my hours helping business leaders double their business and take twice as much time off. What I found is a lot of people change their 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9. They make half the income as an entrepreneur. They work twice as much time, but they have the pride of ownership. And I think if you figure a few things out, you can flip it, work half the time, make it twice as much money. So that decision has given me ownership of my time, and I can use it how I see fit. Some of my favorite ways is traveling with loved ones and helping others on their journey to create generational wealth. This is what works for me, and something else might work for you. Again, I can only share with you my truth. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. Mathematically, it can't be. But leadership is, especially if you're an Aggie. In every room you're in, lead. In every space you are in, know and live your truth. Our leadership and desire to make a world a better place is what Aggies do. We strive to build ourselves up and those who come behind us. We believe in each other. I'll never forget the people who believed in me. Hopefully my mom's proud of me. Hey, Daddy, you back there too. The teachers, the coaches, the person that hired me for the first time, all of my business partners, and especially the little lady stuffing letters in the bed. And I'll never forget Cliff, the security guard. Today, I'm your Cliff. I'm stopping you at the gate, and I'm asking you the same 3 questions he asked me. Who are you? Where are you going? What will you do when you get there? Knowing these answers will keep you focused on your personal and professional goals and make you a great leader that people can feel comfortable following. You can do anything with the red pill and a degree from A&T. My only request is whatever you do, you lead. Your dreams should be real. Thank you.
Class of 2005 and today's keynote speaker for Convocation. Mr. Myers' dynamic accomplishments were shared with us earlier. Congratulations, Mr. Myers. From the John R. and Kathy R. Harrison College of Health and Human Sciences,